Thank you for joining us to see SEP's Cloud App Protection Service for Office 365. You'll see how fast, easy, and secure backup for Office 365 is with SEP. Let's take a look at what is backed up with SEP SaaS Backup. SEP backs up all Office 365 app data at least once a day, including email, shared email, calendars, tasks, SharePoint, OneDrive, Groups, and Teams. Everything runs on a Linux and Solaris high-security HA cluster. High availability replication technology keeps your data in at least 3 locations. Important features include flexible scaling options and intelligent snapshot queue, which allows you to back up your data multiple times per day. Our data centers are spread across 3 locations worldwide. For our European customers, data is stored exclusively in our EU data center in Copenhagen. For American customers, in Washington, D.C., and for our Australian and Asian customers, in Sydney. The administration and configuration of your Office 365 backup takes place entirely online. After logging into the dashboard, you can create multiple connectors. Connectors give you the opportunity to assign different policies and retention times for different AD groups or individual users. For example, when I go to Settings, I can configure my connector and see that all the users that I need to secure appear in the configuration. In this scenario, we have 3 users' data configured for the backup. We have Calendar, OneDrive, SharePoint, Context, Tasks, Public Folders, Mail, and Groups and Teams included in their backup. I can also assign retention times to an AD group. For example, I can say these users have a retention time of 5 years. I have the ability to set different retention times for different users or user groups using these connectors. So, now that I know this user group is configured correctly, I click Save. I can easily create another connector. This one I might call Retention 2. This window tells us that the user with whom we connect to our Office 365 account needs to have global admin permissions. So, either use the initial global admin or create a new user with the same privileges. I can again select my users in the next window. I can load groups. As you can see, I only have the one group created, or I can go add individual users to create a group with different settings. I'll randomly choose 2 colleagues here and select that we only want to back up their calendars, SharePoint, contacts, tasks, public folders, and mail, but not OneDrive, Groups, or Teams. I'll select that data is only kept for 1 month. Now I want to save this scenario, so I hit Save and enter my password to confirm. After that saves, you can see that I now have 3 different connectors here. You can create as many connectors here as needed so your organization can have custom settings for different user groups. After the connector is completed, the first initial backup will start automatically. It is therefore not necessary to schedule your backups or otherwise start manually. All backups are fully automated. Next step, users. I have the option to create different users with different permissions for my organization. In the menu, go to Users. I can create a user with the following roles: Audit, Full Support, Standard Support, Limited Support, and SSO Admin. If I create a full support user, they will have permission to view documents in preview mode and to download, share, import, overwrite, and rename files. If I create a user with standard support, they will only have permission to import, overwrite, and rename files. This last field, Expire Time, is a very handy feature. This gives me the option to define how long a user is active in the system. I could create an audit account which is automatically configured with 1 week validity. 1 week later, this user's account will be closed automatically with no security gaps. I'll choose 1 week here and create the user, and done. The user is created. Before we look at the restricted user rights, let's look at some of the reports the administrator can view. If we go to the menu to Job Monitor, we can see that my connector Retention 2 is currently performing a backup, and we have already 94% of the data transferred. You can see the rest of your backups here. You can adjust date range to view more backups over several days or weeks, then hit refresh. I can export this as a report by clicking this download button. I can also limit the report to only view data from a specific connector by clicking on the connector drop-down menu. Let's click on the first connector. As you can see, data is organized by groups and teams, SharePoint, and users. So there are 3 different approaches to backup and store your data. You can recover data from each section as complete restore or single files or folders. If I go into the users section, I see the 3 users that were added. I click on a user and we see all of this user's data. Let's go into OneDrive and see what it looks like. We have documents, style library, and templates. Inside documents, we should have all of the folders and files this user has in OneDrive. From here, we have many options. We can immediately create a restore job that will simply restore the file to the user's original OneDrive. If there are multiple versions of this file, I can view different versions of this file here. I can also download this document directly to my device. The preview feature, when I hover over files, is very helpful so I can quickly see what kind of file each one is. The Share button allows you to share a file with a colleague or customer. I simply click here on Share File, say how long you want them to have access to the file, create a password, and now I can send them the link and password to download the file. Now we'll look at the view from an account with lower permission settings than the admin account I have been using. After I log in, the home page of the dashboard looks the same as it did in the admin account. I can see the connectors here. Going into the first connector, I'm going to go to the page we were just on inside OneDrive and then Documents. Inside OneDrive, I no longer have the ability to preview files like the admin could. For data restore options, I can only restore directly back the OneDrive directory of the current user. The ability to share files is also no longer available. This account simply has the ability to recover their own data back to its original location. Okay, let's go back to the global admin account. Now that I'm logged back into the global admin, let's look at how Exchange works. I'll go back to where we were, except instead of OneDrive, we'll click on Outlook. From here, I can restore the entire inbox, or I can download it as a PST file, or I can share the inbox file. Let's see what sharing an inbox file looks like. I set the time constraints for sharing, create a password, click Share, and copy the link. Going into the shared file URL, I can download the inbox. The level of granularity to recover individual files we looked at earlier in OneDrive applies to emails and all other data. Here in SharePoint, I can restore entire sites, or I can go into sites and restore different document libraries or files. The last feature I want to mention is Advanced Search, here near at the top of this page. This search delivers results from all connectors within seconds, which makes finding files very easy without having to click through to the file location as we have been doing. Finally, I would like to say a few words about licensing options. There are 2 different license types, Office 365 Complete and Exchange-only licenses that have different feature sets. Both are available with 1-year, 5-year, and 10-year retention periods. Each user has a 1 terabyte storage limit included. Thank you for watching our demo of SEP SaaS Cloud-to-cloud Backup solution for Office 365. If you have any questions, please get in touch with us by visiting www.sepusa.com or using the contact info on the last slide of the video.